Today we have a top tier minivan, the 2025 Toyota Sienna Platinum, and we're going to talk all about this Platinum model. It's got 18 cup holders, a fridge, a vacuum, and it is meant to Netflix and chill. We're going to take a look at all the exterior, interior details and go for a test drive. Let's get started. Let's take a look at all the exterior details of this 25 Sienna. So first of all, let's start with the trims real quick. The LE, XLE, XSE, Limited, Woodland, and the top end Platinum, which we have right here. So we're gonna have all the bells and whistles. I'm gonna talk a little bit about some of the others, but mostly about what we get on this top Platinum model. So you're gonna get LED headlight standard with this little accent light around there. So that is nice. You've got LED fog lights down there as well. Those are technically considered wide angle fog lights. And the blue on here means that it is a hybrid. All Toyota logos with blue mean they're hybrid. LED turn signal. The only disappointing thing, despite the $60,000 price point, these are not adaptive lights. Now the paint color on this one is the Ruby Flare Pearl. I think it looks pretty nice. You don't see minivans that look this flashy very often. Now with the Platinum model, we are gonna get 20-inch wheels here as well. Not like flashy wheels, but they're just fairly large wheels. You will get some different chrome trim on here though, like on the doors, up on the roof rails, a little chrome piece on the mirror. So that's something that kind of makes this look a little bit more fancy considering it is the top Platinum trim. Now the mirrors are awesome because you've got blind spot indicators in them, turn signals in them. They are both auto dimming, so driver and passenger, and it's even a power folding mirror. Dimensionally, it's 203.7 inches long with ground clearance at about 6.5 inches, right on par with other minivans. It is very cavernous and spacious inside, which you will see. We've got LED taillights as well, even though we have an incandescent turn signal. Kind of surprises me for a top trim, $60,000. But one thing you'll notice is that unlike a lot of vehicles that have actual bumpers, Toyota doesn't really have like a lip that's a few inches. So you basically save a few inches of overall space to keep it all on the inside of the vehicle. Now, taking a look at the cargo area, this is a hands-free liftgate as standard, but in order to get a foot activated liftgate, you actually have to option up for that, even on this top Platinum model. I was a little bit surprised by that, but a couple fun facts back here. This has more cargo space behind the third row than Honda, than Chrysler, but not Kia. It also has more cargo space by a fair bit than a Chevy Tahoe or something similar to that. So don't be fooled that you're thinking you're gonna get a Tahoe and have a whole bunch more space, because you're not. But the way that these work is very simple. Pull this lever, the headrest goes down, boom, one-handed, right down in there. Check it out. Same thing here. Pretty smooth, look at that. And you can obviously lay things down on here nice and flat. You can also move these flaps to make it so it's just like a smooth seam going over there. It's pretty cool. To get them back up, number one, pull the lever, and it just clunks into place. Number two, pull the strap to wherever you want that to go. It's easy, it's awesome, it works great. We also have this optional 1500 watt outlet right there, 120 volt. You've got sections for cargo net tie down, things like that. We also have hooks for grocery bags, 1, 2, 3, and 4 hooks right there. And it is just extremely cavernous back here. We drive a Sienna as well, but an older one, and you can still have a couple items like a blanket or some spare things down here under the seats when they are folded, and it doesn't get in the way. Now over here, I'll show you what's in that bag in a little bit. You've got an extra little section for storage, which is nice. So this whole area is just fantastic. I'm gonna fold things down to show you just how much space we actually get. Fold that up, fold it down. There we go, and look at that. Space is great. The only negative is that those second row seats are not supposed to come out. You could take them out, but they don't just easily come out like previous generations, or fold down in like Chrysler has the stow and go. That's just how it is. You can fold those seats flat, but you don't have as much overall cargo space as the other minivans. One thing I want to mention about the cargo area is oftentimes in vehicles you'll find spare tires. Nowadays those are becoming less and less common, Well, the Sienna does not have a spare tire. It is only available as an option, so keep that in mind. Now let's take a look at the smart key. So you've got the smart key system on all doors with push button start. So you can open up both doors from the key fob, the hatch or the lift gate from the key fob. So what I mean by the smart key works on all doors is that, like usual with Toyota, you've got a little sensor right there. The mirrors will fold, but then there's also the sensor in the back. Now with the back doors here, to open these, when it's unlocked, you can just pull the handle, but there's not a sensor here like there is the front. If you push that button, then they will unlock and open up. So that's the way that that works, instead of a sensor just like the rest of them. Now let's take a look at this Platinum model's front seats. So first of all, I like this two-tone look. These are perforated seats. You've got good bolstering right here, and these seats are very comfortable. They've got some nice plushness to them. It's not too narrow down here or not too bulky either. The headrest is in a good spot. It's not too far forward. You've got some nice comfortable big armrests for both you and the passenger. And as far as adjustments down here, you got your regular height and tilt, the recline, and then a 4-way lumbar adjustment. So that's the way that that works. You also get a power steering wheel that is heated, so it is power tilt and telescoping with memory settings, which we will find right over here on the door. The steering wheel heat is right over here, whereas the heated and ventilation controls are right over here. So you've got both of those. Very comfortable seats overall and a comfortable steering wheel too. I already talked to you about the smart key system getting in back there and how you can use a key fob to do it. You've got buttons up there to open up the back door, but you also have, if you'll see down there, you can obviously take these stickers off. You've got a sensor down there to swipe your foot. Swipe your foot. There we go. And then it opens up. So take a look at that. You've got hands-free door opening, and these seats back here are also very nice for the mobility impaired. You've got a nice big grab handle, or for children, easy to get in, and this is solid. I mean, this thing is like a rubber material. It's good grip to hang on to, and you've got the same nice looking two-tone leather seats back here. The third row, I believe, is a Softex material, but another cool thing is that we've got these lift-up sunshades on the second and the third row. That is a nice little feature. There's some other really cool things back here. Let's take a look. Before we do that, let me show you these controls. So you can recline, you can move the seat forward and backwards, and we have an ottoman. Take a look at that. And these seats can go, Toyota's like really cool feature is their super long slide seats. So look at this track right here. From there, all the way back there. Let's go ahead and move this seat back. In fact, that third row's up and we just ran into the third row, but you've got so much room. It is like luxury back here. Now, I'm 5'9". That's where I like to have that seat. We have this row or this seat back quite a ways. You can have this ottoman all the way up, part way down. It can stop in different areas. Both of these seats have the ottoman, which is fantastic. And if I move my seat way up to give a bunch of room behind me, I get close, obviously, but if I scoot back even just a little bit, I've got good room. If I go way back into that third row, look how much space we have. So you can fold the third row down and still give your second row passengers tons and tons of space. We also have AC vents overhead on both sides. We have this optional entertainment system. It is a 1080 HD screen. It is pretty large as well. It comes with a couple of wireless headphones, an HDMI port that you can plug in. And when I talked about Netflix and chill, you can have Netflix on there and you can chill because you have a fridge back here. You literally have a fridge in the Sienna. You've got a couple different controls to cool things off right here. And it does indeed get cold in here. I've seen people fit 6 water bottles in there. So that is pretty awesome. This can be running, the whole time you're driving, and you'll be good to go with that. But the other cool thing, not only is that we have cup holders, we have this nice rubber mat to put something right there. You've got the screen, you've got dual zone climate back here. So technically a 4-zone system. Check it out. You can control temperatures on each side. We have heated seats, but not ventilated seats. But we also have a vacuum. This is pretty cool. Yes, you have a built-in vacuum. I'll show you how it works in a second. We've got a 3-prong outlet back here, and this is where you use or where you hook up your vacuum. It's just for dry use. It's not a wet vac, and all of the material goes down into here. So you've got this little thing right here you can take out with the filter and dump it. So everything is contained and you don't have to worry about it. That little bag I showed you in the back is where the vacuum hose can go and all your attachments. I'm the first one to open this thing up. Everything was in wrappers and plastic, but you've got this attachment point with the brush. You've got that flat one over there. We've got this pointy one right here, and you can take it off and just have a normal hose. But check it out. This is a pretty long hose and it is stretchy. I've got a mess in the front seat, so let's go ahead and test that out. All you gotta do is push this button and we'll try it out. All right, look at all of these clippings on the floor here. Let's see how this works. Not too bad. It's not great suction, but I think it's good enough, certainly for some messes with kids with cereal and stuff like that, you know, snacks in the back. Yeah, this is good. This is very handy. I'm glad Toyota offers this. They're not the only one that does, but this is a really cool feature. And it's a stretchy hose. So, I mean, you could probably reach this all throughout the van. Now, let's climb into the third row as well. One thing to mention is the Platinum is just a 7-passenger vehicle. Basically, 6-passenger, because you've got 2 up front, 2 here, 3 in the back, but the middle is very narrow. But we can fold this or pull this lever. The seat will kick up like that, and then it is easy to pull. And look how much space you have. Obviously, you can even go through the middle. But we've got a ton of room right here. And there's the layout of this third row. Now, third row, you can just have that seat out of the way for the most part if you want. But if you have it back, where you mostly probably will, in a middle of the road area, I still have good knee space and good enough foot space. I mean, it's not great, and this is kind of a short little third row, but it works for me. And we even have volume controls. You can plug the headphone in back there. You've got USB-C charging port, 2 of them back here. You even have those sunshades for the third row. That is not a common feature. We also have our own air conditioning vents on each side for the third row too. So this is a really nice place to be, not to mention cup holders on both sides. And I can sit up tall. I can feel my hair touching. Maybe it's just a spider web, actually. So I don't think my hair is actually touching. Maybe just a little bit, but still good headroom. Now let's take a look at the interior details. This is updated for 2025. You've got updated materials, a brand new infotainment system right there, and we'll talk about that. Let's go ahead and start it up right there. So with the hybrid, if you're not used to that, the engine might not start. And if you see this little EV indicator, the engine's not running. It doesn't need to all the time, but it will say ready when it's technically ready for you to shift and go into gear. Now, like I said, nice, comfortable, leather-wrapped, heated steering wheel. We've got this massive cluster right here, this 12.3-inch display, which is somewhat customizable. You've got 3 screens where you can change what's there, in the middle, and over there, but you're a little bit limited to what type of information you can have on each side. Let's see here. You can also go to the settings here, and you can change some of your driver assist features on here. You can even go and change the way that this meter looks too. So check it out, meter style or meter type. We've got the 2 gauges. You can have the 1 gauge. You can have it be basically minimalistic like this. So you can have it kind of how you want. I'd love to know what you would prefer to have. It's a nice fully digital display. We also have a head-up display overhead as well. Right now the head-up display is a little tough to see, but you can kind of see it flickering right there. It is a good size head-up display, and it's not really something I expected in a van, but you get it on this top trim. We also have rain-sensing windshield wipers with that stock over there. Over on the door panel, you've got nice material. It's even this light 2-tone color here. You've got a nice soft padded armrest, a good grab handle, automatic 1-touch windows, 1 little storage slot with decent storage there, a couple of cup holders down below, so it is multifaceted with storage, multiple switches and buttons down here, including your heated steering wheel, brightness controls. We've got a little rubber lined mat right here, which is nice to see for grip. We also have a massive shelf, as you saw before, that runs all the way across over there. this shelf is nice. It also has a wireless charger right here, which has a grip on it, so it doesn't let your stuff slide around. But unlike our other storage shelf, this is like just plastic and stuff can rattle and slide on there. I wish they had a little rubber liner or something there to make that nice. We've got a USB-A charging port there. There are several more in here, which I will show you. And then driver assist controls are pretty much dedicated to right there on the steering wheel. Cruise, lane keeping, distance right there. You've got your music controls, information display controls, all the good stuff on here that you need. And then we've got this display. This is a 12.3 inch display. So the the LE model, the base model, gets an 8-inch display with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's got the latest infotainment that we see from Toyota. It's a lot like Lexus, and it works well. I personally just pretty much always use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it's nice to see that it is wireless coupled with the wireless charger down there, which is now more powerful for 2025. The shifter here is pretty self-explanatory, but let's go into reverse, and we've got a 360 panoramic view right here. So this is nice to see. We also have a JBL audio system. It is a 12-speaker system with a subwoofer. Now, we have 4-zone climate control technically. It is 2-zone up here. Heated seats, ventilated seats, your automatic function. You can control the rear air from up here. You and the passenger have your own controls, and in the back you've got your own controls as you saw earlier. Cup holders, we've got plenty of them. So you've got 2 pretty good sized ones here. You can fit large items in both of them. This large drink kind of covers up those controls just mildly, but there's a little tray right there for maybe a phone or something if you'd like as well. Then you've got some smaller ones. These are more for like takeout drinks or cans or bottles, small bottles. It doesn't fit something quite as big as a style like this. But then there's also a separate space to be able to put something right there. Or you can just cover it up and then just have still like a slot for a phone or a wallet or whatever it is. What do you think of this trim in here? What do you think of it? This being the Platinum model, we get, the nice wood versus, kind of different materials across different trims, but the luxury end models in most vehicles will come with something like this. More USB charging ports, USB-C ports there, and a pretty deep area right here. It's actually really deep. I mean, it goes way down. You can shove a lot of stuff in there if you wanted to. And then this entire area is like rubber lined. It's massive. You've got space galore, so you can shove stuff in there. It's basically like a bridge, and my wife loves this kind of thing. You can just quickly shove a purse, bag, anything like that, and it's not going to rattle or move around. You've got a 12-volt power outlet down there too, so you can charge some items if you want. I think it's really nice to have alongside the storage area up here, which is nice. You also have nice materials there too. And then down here, check that out. Glove box, pretty standard, pretty typical. We also have the camera mirror. So this is actually really nice, especially in a large vehicle like this. You can have it as a regular auto dimming mirror like this, or you can have, you still got garage controls, or you can make it like that where you can see perfectly out the back. Because obviously visibility isn't always great in situations like this. I mean, look at that. There's a pretty good spot right there. Somebody could be hiding. But the nice thing is that you've got blind spot indicators in both mirrors. So visibility coupled with this is actually quite good. One thing to note is that that is an option even on this Platinum. And we just have one regular sunroof. We've got this big entertainment system right here. I'm not sure, I did not see an option on this 2025 model for a panoramic roof or a two-tone or a 2-panel roof or anything like that. It's just the one. I thought that it had it before. Correct me if I am wrong though, please leave it in the comments, but I couldn't find anything about that. And you've got these sliding visors, which is nice because Toyota doesn't always have the sliding visors, but overall this is a very family friendly and functional and spacious interior. What do y'all think? All right, y'all, we're behind the wheel of the Toyota Sienna, and since it is only a hybrid, I'll touch on, what it's like to drive if you've never driven a hybrid, and what it compares to, what it's like compared to older Siennas. I drive a 2015 Sienna. with the V6, and some of you might be apprehensive because it doesn't have a V6 anymore, and this is the only option. Well, I'll talk about the difference and what they feel like, efficiency, and all of that. You already heard the efficiency ratings, which are great for a minivan. Now, in my time driving this week, right now it says 26.2, but I reset it not long ago and did a little bit of idling. I was averaging between like 30 to 32 for a good portion of it, with a fair amount of highway driving. So not as good as I want, but it can be very unpredictable sometimes. You can really milk these hybrids though, because you can kind of watch and see when you're in EV mode and when the engine's about to kick on. So you can definitely milk these and get better efficiency than what you are projected to fairly easily. I was not trying to do that. I was just driving regular day to day. Now, one thing to note is that this does have the Toyota Safety Sense 2.0. Despite the refresh, they did not enhance the Toyota Safety Sense. There's a Toyota Safety Sense 2.5 and a 3.0, which are both more advanced than this, and this has not been advanced over the years. So this continues to have the same one that it had before this refresh. Now, ergonomically in here, this is a very comfortable vehicle. The seats are comfortable. This whole section is comfortable. Reaching up on there is good. Controlling this, the display, everything is good. I have zero complaints with that. Now, as far as the hybrid drivetrain, the one thing that I dislike the most, just like all of the Toyota hybrids, is that they do have a drone. They have an eCVT. It is not a belt and pulley type CVT like you see in other crossovers. It's totally different, but it operates similarly as far as the way that the vehicle revs. So like if you get on it, it'll basically hold the revs up for a while. It's not like you get the simulated shifts like an automatic transmission. But on the plus side, with a hybrid, you have some electric power and the gas power. The electric power provides good immediate torque right away. So these can feel more punchy, especially in city driving and short spurts of getting on it, as opposed to a regular naturally aspirated engine like the old V6. There is one area where the old V6 really does feel better, which is passing power on like the highway, for example. And the one thing about hybrids is that their brakes are a little bit interesting too, because they're completely self-sufficient with the hybrid battery charging itself. So when you brake, it's capturing energy. The regenerative brakes help to charge the battery. But once you get past a certain point of brake pressure, you hit the actual brakes, and then you can feel it kind of jerk a little bit. The Toyota hybrids have gotten smoother and smoother over the years on improving their brakes and improving the transition of gas engine, or just EV to gas engine, to where it's almost unnoticeable. You can hear the engine kick on at times, but you don't have to worry or do anything at all to monitor that. Now, we're just in normal mode. Let me go ahead and put the pedal down. Now, like that, if I'm just going and I wanted to go past somebody, if I'm on like a 2-lane road, I wanted to get around them real quick, I don't have a ton of confidence in here. In our 2015 with the V6, you stomp on it as the RPMs go up and it shifts, you definitely can feel that thing pull. You've got some good horsepower in that. This doesn't have as much horsepower as those old V6s. If you put this in sport mode here, when you stomp on it, things are pretty similar, but if you keep it in sport mode, it's going to hold those RPMs a little higher. If you go to eco mode, I'll put it in eco mode now, it tries to keep you in EV mode for longer. So it uses more of the electric power. And it seamlessly goes in and out. Like it was EV mode a second ago and now gas, and it was like you didn't even notice unless you saw the EV icon go off. Now we're back in EV mode. And I've got to say, this has pretty big wheels on it, but it's a very comfortable ride. I really do like the ride. I was in the XSE before, and there were a couple times I felt the little creaks in there, and it was maybe a little bit on the stiff side. This one feels more comfortable from what I can remember, and it's an excellent family vehicle. I really do like driving the Sienna. That just sounds, you know, it doesn't sound cool to say, but these minivans are nice. They're comfortable. It's fairly quiet too. This is a rough textured road. We've got laminated glass on this model, so it suppresses the noise. And it's like a family paradise in here. I mean, you got a bunch of features, bells and whistles, comfort and space and practicality, and just different cool features like those second row seats that can slide way back. Third row folds in totally flat. Great efficiency, great road trip vehicle. But let me know what your thoughts are down below on this Sienna. Now to wrap things up on this 2025 Toyota Sienna, this is the Platinum model, top trim. There's so many good things about it and nice features. It's extremely spacious. It's very efficient. You've got a vacuum, you've got a fridge, you've got all the comfort features, big screen for you and for the passengers. What do you think of this Sienna? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. I think for a minivan, this is excellent. There's some things that are a little negative to it. You can't take the back seats out, or you're not supposed to take the back seats out. So you don't quite have the same overall cavernous cargo space as you get with some of the others, but the efficiency, the drivability, you still get all-wheel drive. Those are hard to beat. And if you think you're too cool for a minivan, you're not.